The Unique Duck.
It was a beautiful day in the country. The sun was shining and the birds were singing. Close by the canal, a duck sat on her eggs. She had been sitting on them a long time. One by one, the eggs cracked open,
How big the world is.
said the ducklings as they waddled around, but one egg remained in the nest. It was very large,
Why is it taking so long?
said the mother duck,
It's a turkey egg.
said one of her friends.
Leave it. Take the other ducklings away with you.
Oh, I couldn't. Just a little while longer.
Said the mother duck, and she sat on the egg. At last, the egg broke and out tumbled a very odd-looking creature. It was big and gray and ugly,
What a funny-looking duckling.
said the mother duck. The next day, the mother duck took her children to the canal. To her surprise, the ugly duckling jumped in with all the others and swam around happily. But back in the fowl yard, the other ducks were not pleased.
What is that?
They asked.
It's my newest duckling. He is very good. He swims as well as the others. Maybe better.
But my dear, he is so different.
They all laughed. Worse than that, some of them pecked at him and called him names. After a few days, even his brothers and sisters turned on him.
Go away.
They hissed.
You ugly duckling.
The unique duckling, feeling dejected, wanders away from the pond and discovers a hidden stream deeper into the forest. As he follows the stream, he notices something troubling. The once pristine water is murky and littered with trash. Plastic bags float on the surface, and the banks are lined with discarded bottles and cans. The unique duckling looks around in dismay, seeing the effects of pollution on that environment.
This isn't right. How can something so beautiful be ruined like this?
He said to himself.
Hello kids, I'm Ate Yara. Do you know that water pollution can cause different types of diseases? We are CREATEL'S, and here are some tips to avoid water pollution. Number 1. Avoid using single-use plastics. Number 2. Avoid throwing leftover food down the sink because throwing leftover food down the sink is one of the main causes of canal blockages. Number 3. Pick up litter or trash that you see on the ground, not just to avoid water pollution, but also to keep your community clean. Number 4. Practice Clego or clean as you go. Number 5. Recycle your paper. You can use scratch paper for crafts or even school projects. Number 6. Participate in community cleanups. Do all these and you can help save our environment. If you want to know more, follow us on our official social media accounts for more updates.
The ugly duckling felt a deep sadness for the environment around him. He knew he was different from the other ducklings, but he also knew that this pollution is wrong. With every piece of trash he removed from the stream, he felt a sense of purpose. He may have been called
Ugly duckling.
by his siblings, but here, in this polluted stream, he found a new identity, a protector of nature. All was well for a few days. Then one day, hunters have arrived. They were shooting at the other ducks in the lake. A big dog jumped at the ugly duckling. The little duckling ran away as fast as he could. At last, he found the lake. All on his own, he swam around. Time went by, it grew colder. One evening, as the sun was setting, a flock of white birds flew overhead. They were very beautiful with long, slender necks,
Oh, how I wish I was one of them.
said the ugly duckling. Winter came on. It was bitterly cold. The duckling was starving. He was so cold, he could not feel his flippers. Ice covered the pond. The ugly duckling hid under a bush, trying to keep warm. One day, a farmer found him.
I'll take you home for my children.
He said. Inside the farmer's house, the duckling felt better. But the children were rough, and when he knocked over a pail of milk, the farmer's wife yelled out at him and tried to hit him with a broom. Once more, the duckling ran away, back into the wild. The snow came. But the duckling was stronger now, and somehow he kept on. As time went on, he grew stronger and bigger. The sun started shining again. The leaves came out of the trees. Spring had come at last. Birds came back after the winter. And one day, 3 beautiful white birds landed on the lake where he lived.
They are beautiful.
He said,
I will go to them.
but then he remembered that he was ugly.
They will probably kill me.
He said,
After all, the hens picked on me, and the children, and the farmer's wife.
he swam towards the white birds. They turned. They came towards him.
Please do not kill me.
He said,
I know I am ugly, but please be kind to me.
but as he stopped, he looked down. He saw his reflection in the water. He could not believe his eyes. He was like them. He was a swan.
You are one of us.
They said.
Welcome.
They swam around him and stroked him with their bills. On the shore, the children cried out.
Look, there's a young swan, and he is the most beautiful of all.
He hid his head under his wing with pleasure. Then he raised his head up and said,
Never have I been so happy.
Thank you, Kuya Iggy, for the very beautiful story. Hello, kids. Did you enjoy and listen attentively to the video? If so, we prepared some questions for you. What was the mother duck waiting for? If you answered for her eggs to hatch, then you're correct. What came out of the large egg? If you answered a big unique duck, then you're correct. How did the unique duckling feel at the start of the story? If you answered sad, then you're correct. What did he see in the reflection of water in the end? If you answered swan, then you're correct. Finally, for the moral of the story, the moral of the unique duckling story is to
Accept people for their qualities, their values, their friendship, and their humility. Do not judge others because of how they look. Appearances are often misleading, and it is always better to accept a person for their many good qualities than accept them based on physical looks.
And that's it for our story today. We hope that we will share some great stories with you again. See you next time!